So welcome back to Unheard Gems. Today we are joined by an incredible rising pop singer called Shye. We're so happy to have you with us today. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Really happy we get the chance to talk to you.
Likewise. Thank you for having me.
So just so all of our listeners can get to know a bit more about you and your story, can you talk to us about how you really got into music as your career?
My father was a musician growing up, so I was around it a lot. So I always really enjoyed it, and it was always kind of like ingrained in me. But my mom actually, in her own right, is a brilliant writer. And I mean, birthday cards, speeches, poems, anything, like she crushes everything. So when I was younger and kind of going through a lot, she made me start writing to kind of get it all out and have like a healthier outlet to try and cope with the things I was dealing with. So that was probably the main thing that started it. It didn't even start off as music. It kind of just started off as me just writing down thoughts. And then as I got older and, started playing more music and playing guitar and things like that, it became more so music. And then I had a bunch of really awesome teachers in school growing up that like really pushed me to do it too. I did theater a lot as a kid, and like all those teachers kind of pushed me to keep pursuing it. So I would say probably around like high school is when I started really, seeing it as that's what I was going to go for and going to pursue. But, it's been ingrained in me since I was a kid.
Yeah. And so I feel like you're really bringing something really fresh and honest and bringing back some emotion into pop music. So how would you say your music is really setting you apart from the other pop artists right now?
Well, first of all, that's dope to hear, so thank you. I like hearing that. I don't know. I just feel like, for me, writing music, again, is, what I want to be pursuing and what I want to be doing. But it's first and foremost always been my way of dealing with things. So I think that maybe, like, the fact that you can sense that honesty and hear it is because everything I write comes from a real place and comes from something real that I'm dealing with, because that's my only way of, in a healthy manner, getting it out. So I think that might set it apart a little bit. I know there's like a pop formula and there's hit songs everywhere, but I feel like, I first and foremost will always use it as my outlet and my way of dealing with things. So I think that honesty is something that I try to bring to it, and like the raw emotion is something I always try to make as like a tangible asset to the songs I write.
For sure. And then you recently released 2 singles, Wither and Through Your Fire, which I really love both of those. Your 2018 was full of really strong singles. Can you tell us a bit about these 2 since you rounded out your year with these songs? Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you, by the way.
Through Your Fire, subject matter wise, is about dealing with your own demons and trying to convey that to the person you're in love with who deals with their own, and trying to convey to them that, like, you don't have to hide yours from me if I don't have to hide mine from you. And that, I always feel like in a relationship you're stronger as a unit. So it's more or less not only you don't have to hide yours from me if I don't have to hide yours from you, but I'll help you fight yours if you help me fight mine. And it was me just trying to convey to that person that, there's nothing you need to hide from me. I'm very aware of your situation, and all I want to do is help you become a stronger version of yourself. So that was what that song was about. I wrote that with my friend Eric, who I also wrote Sinking with, and he's just a brilliant songwriter, and his instrumentals are always just so good. So that one was a lot of work pulling together, but it came out really cool. I'm really excited about it. And then Wither I wrote with my friends Matt and Jose. They live in Wilmington, and they're brilliant songwriters as well. And that song is about being planted in a situation or a feeling by that person you love, and feeling stuck as you watch them like move on and grow without you, and feeling like you have no room to grow because you're still watching them bloom while you essentially wither. You know what I mean? So that was what that was about, and I recorded them both with my brilliant engineer, mixer, producer, Brendan Williams. I do all my songs with him, and I think a a lot of the raw emotion and the feeling that you said you felt in my songs comes from him too, because he knows me so well as a person and as an artist, and more so knows what every line of every song means, because he is someone I just discuss my life with so much because we're so close. And he has a really interesting way of pulling those emotions out of me, as well as mixing each song and using certain things in each song that convey that emotion the best way possible. And then I did both videos with Cinemagic Pictures, which is Mitch Francis and Gian Mitchell, and they're brilliant as well. Got a really cool team of people that have been super helpful in helping me get these songs out the best way possible.
Yeah, for sure. And that kind of was a perfect transition to my next question, which was about the music video. I think it's beautiful. So what was it like for you to create a visual to go along with this song, and did you have a favorite part of the process?
Thank you again. It was cool too. I kind of came up with the concept for the Wither video to be like a haunting type thing, and have it, as I've told you, the song is about watching someone bloom without you, so I kind of wanted it to be the video watching me be haunted by the relationship and what I thought it was and what I thought we were together and all these things. So I thought it'd be really interesting to never show the girl's face. My mom wasn't too happy about that because the girl, Dara, is absolutely stunning. But she was super, super sweet and very on board with everything. And I kind of wanted it to be really dark and kind of create that loneliness feeling that I try to convey in the song. So when I called Mitch to talk to him about it, he had just finished watching Haunting of Hill House, and he was like, we're going to make something really, really dark. And I was like, all right, cool. So the imagery, a lot came from that. But we all drove up to Jamestown, Rhode Island, took a few hours and just kind of hung out all day and shot in this beautiful, beautiful home. It was actually Gian's aunt's home. And it's like right on the water, and it was super foggy out that day. So like the kind of, I had this weird thing where a lot of the times when I shoot music videos, the weather is perfect for it. Like when I shot my first music video for a song called Iconic, it was snowing out, and it just created for this like beautiful imagery. So I would say probably my favorite part of that was it was just so much work, and I like trying to figure out the best way to convey things, and while still having like a really good time. And it took a lot of, like, I think we were there for like 8 or 9 hours, which is probably the longest I've ever been in one place to shoot a music video. So I think trying to convey the storyline the best way was probably my favorite part, because that's the most probably in-depth story video I've ever done so far.
Yeah. Well, it definitely paid off. It was amazing.
Thank you.
And so then, what about this year? We're just kicking off 2019, so what can you tell us about this year in terms of what music and what new things you have in store for your listeners?
So I'm trying to put out at least as much music, if not more, than I did last year. I'm currently planning my first release of 2019. It's like nearing the end of where I need it to be as far as like audio goes. Like the song is almost done, and it's really, really cool. I think it's possibly one of the best like vocal arrangements I've ever written in my life. But as far as like new things, I'm trying to I'm currently rehearsing with a live band to prepare for the live aspect. You know, I kind of wanted to really sink my teeth into it before I even thought about booking a show, because I wanted it to be so locked in and perfect by the time. So that's been really interesting and a lot of work too, because we're basically, you know, almost doing the normal band thing backwards. Whereas, like, I was in bands growing up, and you sit with your friends and you write a song and you practice a bunch, make it perfect, and then go record it. Whereas I already recorded the song, now I'm kind of deconstructing it with my friends, and, you know, it sounds really, really cool. I think it's really fun. I love going to see, you know, pop and hip-hop artists that have a live band, because I think it brings a new dynamic to the song that may not be there originally, and that's always what I've enjoyed. Like the best show I've ever seen in my life to this day is Justin Timberlake and Jay-Z at Yankee Stadium, and it was just live band and choreography, and it was just I've always wanted to convey that type of same energy. So it's been really fun to kind of deconstruct everything and like really put the work in with that. So I'm like really, really busy doing that right now, but I'm also getting ready for the next release. So we're going to start playing this year, which will be fun. I haven't played out yet as Shye ever, so that'll be cool. And then putting out a bunch of music, collaborating with more people, and just trying to, keep the ball rolling, but also take like a next step.
Awesome. Well, I hope that you'll come out to the West Coast as well for some live shows, because I'd love to see you.
I hope so too. That would be that's the goal. We're working really hard over here.
Yeah. So then I kind of have a less music related question and more just a you related question. You decided to use Shye as a pseudonym rather than go by your real name. I find it really interesting when artists do this, so I was wondering if you would maybe explain the reasoning behind your choice to do so.
Well, first of all, my name is Nick Harrison, which is the most vanilla name ever, and there's like 30 billion Nick Harrisons in the world. So that was it was pretty easy for me early on to realize I wasn't going to use my name. I chose Shye because that's what my mom calls me. She's called me that since I was, 8. I don't think she's called me Nick in like 15, 20 years. But it was like, I don't really know how it happened. Her and my best friend Aaron's mother were best friends my whole life, next door neighbors. And for some reason she yelled Nikolai Shashevsky at me one day. I don't know if that's a real guy in history or if she's just nuts and made it up. But that kind of snowballed and it turned into Shye. My mom's called me Shye since I was a kid. So it was funny. I was kind of like starting to release some songs and write some songs under a different name. And I was hanging out with my friend Matt, who I write with a lot and who I was in bands with growing up. And he's known me since I was 13. And I was like, yeah, I think I want to change the name. And he was like, to what? And I told him Shye. And he was like, you should have been releasing music under that this whole time. Like, that makes so much more sense. And especially since my mom had such a big hand in making me a writer, because that's my way of dealing with things because of her. I thought it was like a nice like tip of the cap to my mom too. So I got the name from my mom.
That's an amazing story. So that really touches me. That's really awesome.
Yeah, my mom is the dopest person I know. So
that's awesome. So then I ask this question every time I interview another artist. So this is kind of an evil question because I'm going to make you pick one. If you could recommend one other artist that you think deserves more representation and recognition in the music industry right now, who would you recommend and then why?
I have to pick one?
You can pick up to 3.
I can pick up to 3? I can do that.
Okay.
Oh God.
It's a really bad question.
I have too many friends. I feel like I'm gonna like do someone dirty by not naming somebody. Alright, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. My favorite songwriter on the planet, his name is Micah. He was in a band called Therefore Tomorrow. He's in a group called After Hour now, but he releases solo music under the name Micah. And he's from Florida, and his songs are absolutely unbelievable, and I think he's criminally underrated. Every time he releases a new song, it's my favorite song for the next 3 to 5 months until he releases another one. He's brilliant. My friend Gabe goes by the name Bronze Avery. He is the most flawlessly talented singer I have ever encountered in my entire life. Like, he makes me want to quit and become an accountant. Like, he's so good. And he has a new song called Want To out, and it's super fun and like sexy and dancey, and you should really check it out. That one's great. Oh God.
I know for you, your show, like I saw these little papers out here.
All right, I'm gonna do 2 as a duel.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So up to 4 then. So Micah, Bronze Avery, and then I have 2 friends that are both doing something really cool right now, and they're releasing a song a month, which is super exciting and something that is mind-blowing to me that they can generate that much content that quick, and they're brilliant. One is Eric, who I write with, and who helped me with Through Your Fire and Sinking, and it's spelled E space R space I space K. So there's a space in between each letter, and he's on Spotify. All his music's dope. And my friend Nightwinds from Florida is doing the same thing. And he's got 3 songs out now. He's putting a 4th one out because they're both putting them out January 25th. They both have songs coming out January 25th. Obviously, make sure you listen to them. And then he's like building up to an EP as well. So they're just doing something really cool that I think is exciting too. So Nightwinds, Eric with spaces in between each letter, Bronze Avery, Micah.
I'll definitely have to check them all out.
I appreciate you letting me name 4 because I thought it was going to be super easy, and then
yeah, often a challenge. So just a last thing for everyone who's listening, where can they find you and your music and anything else you want to say during this interview?
All of my socials are at Shye, SHYE Sounds. So you can follow me or subscribe and do all those fun things. SHYE period on Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Amazon, MySpace, Napster, AOL Instant Messenger, Netflix, I don't know, figure it out, Blockbuster. So just keep your eye out and check out the songs, and I hope you like them, and there's more coming, I promise.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It was great talking to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.